and then yield to Chief Acevedo.
Thank you, Mayor. First, let me just thank you, Mayor, for always being with us. You're always with us in good times and in bad times. And on behalf of the family, I just want to thank you for your support of this police department and obviously the Perez family. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over this event, provide an outline of what occurred. I just want to thank my team that's up here, all of our executive assistant chiefs that have been working, and assistant chiefs, and Ray Hunt from the HPOU, who this has been a real family and a real partnership. So today, Steve wasn't just taken from the Houston Police Department. He wasn't just taken from the city of Houston. He was taken from the people of Houston. What occurred was this, as follows. On Sunday, August 27th, Steve Perez, Sergeant Steve Perez, who had been on, again, like the mayor said, for 34 years, assigned to the Traffic Enforcement Division, left his home at 4 a.m. Left his home in heavy rain. As a matter of fact, I just got back from making notification a little while ago, and the community is not accessible, but for our aircraft, we wouldn't have been able to get out there. We left at 4 a.m. on Sunday, August 27th, to get to his work station. Sergeant Perez, while driving around, our investigation has determined that he spent about 2.5 hours driving around trying to get to his duty station, which is Traffic Enforcement Division and Central here downtown Houston. He could not find a path, and you can imagine heavy rain, dark roadways, who knows what else he saw out there with the lighting in that more rural community. He kept driving around, couldn't find it, so he called his chain of command and said, listen, I cannot get to my primary duty station. Being the dedicated professional this man is, like the rest of the men and women in blue and our first responders family, he followed our protocol, which is to go to a secondary location, the nearest location you can get to, which is the Kingwood office. He had learned that we were actually going to, and we have evacuated his primary station. We've now evacuated the secondary station, because we're experiencing floods as well. So that was Sunday the 27th. On Monday the 28th, his chain of command was holding the regular roll call when they noticed that Sergeant Perez was not present. At that time, they started making attempts to reach him and could not get a hold of him. When they couldn't get a hold of him, understanding that this man is a dedicated individual that would not just not show up to work. And one of the things that we know over the years in these events, it's something this historical, is sometimes first responders don't show up. Well, I like to say that our people have been showing up, have stayed at work, and the vast majority have not left since Saturday night. We contacted his wife, and she advised us that she had not seen her husband since 4 a.m. on the 27th. We immediately began an extensive search of a potential path of travel. We utilized other investigative techniques to try to locate him. And Monday evening at about 10 p.m., we narrowed the search to Hardy Tollway and Beltway 8. We responded to Hardy Tollway and Beltway 8, where we had a high sense of probability that was the last place that he would have been. We called for our dive team. We even used one of our, what are we calling these people from Louisiana? God bless them. Our Cajun Navy. You know, our American Cajun Navy that helped us look for him. So we couldn't find him, and once our dive team got there, it was too treacherous to go under and look for him. So we made a decision to leave officers there waiting until the morning, because as much as we wanted to recover him last night, we could not put more officers at risk for what we knew in our hearts was going to be a recovery mission. We kept his wife apprised, even though we had a high probability that he was gone. We always hold on to hope. So I called her last night. She was desperately wanting more information. I told her we found them. We're still looking. We're checking hospitals. We can't communicate with all hospitals because some of them have been evacuated, and that we would keep her apprised of the situation. This morning at 8 a.m., the dive team was out there again, which was their number one priority, and within 20 minutes, they found him. Unfortunately, in the darkness, Sergeant Perez drove into an underpass that's about 16 and a half feet, drove into the water, and he died in a flood, in a drowning type. Let me just say this, that I had the privilege of notifying his wife and his son and his extended family at their home that he died, that he laid down his life. And of course, the wife had the reaction that we always expect when we see these. But I'm heartened by two things. Number one, I got to learn that it's a family of faith, that has faith in God. And when you have faith, there's hope. There's hope in eternal life. And it gives us all collective strength in the Houston Police Department, knowing that this family knows that as much as they're hurting, like our mayor, who's, I always say that he's always preaching, even when it's not Sunday, he preaches every day. The wife told me she had asked him not to go in. And Steve is one of the sweetest people I've met in this department. I've only been here 9 months, okay? And we've got 6,500 employees, and I knew who Steve Perez was because he was a sweet, gentle public servant. And she tells me, I told him not to go to work. I really didn't want him to go. His father-in-law, who's a Korean War veteran from the Army, combat veteran, we told him not to go because the conditions were so bad. And his response was, we've got work to do. And here's a man that didn't spend 20 minutes and then come back and say, hey, I tried. He spent close to 2.5 hours because he has that in his DNA. And so I told his wife, let me ask you something, man. You're a person of faith. If the Lord is going to take him today, how do you think you would want to go? Laying in bed, watching a disaster, or doing what he's done for 34 years? And the smile that overcame that woman's face, his beautiful wife, said it all. If it was his turn to go, she said, this is the way he would have wanted to go. And so with that, I just want to tell the men and women of the Houston Police Department that what you have displayed for the past 4 days, sleeping on cots, our dive team yesterday, their only meal was a power bar. And they were out there at 11:30 at night. And had we let them, believe me, they would have gone to the water. So for those that have been tweeting about, hey, why are the cops being fed? Well, they got it. They can't save people. And despite the fact that we have not been able to do the best of jobs feeding them, they are out there on a power bar having 7 hours. So I'm sorry that we're feeding them, but that's why we're doing it, so they can save lives. And so with that, I just want to say that we will continue. This police department is resilient, as is this community, and I look forward to taking this man and giving him the honors and his family that he so richly deserves. On the day that we have his funeral, and I know that this is Houston, and it's going to be, they know it's going to be a while because we've got some work to do that he would want us to do. We will apologize now when we mess up traffic. The least we can do is a day that we say goodbye, that this family, this community get an opportunity to pay their respects. And with that, we can open up to questions.